All right, so hopefully you guys know that the hypotenuse is the one that's across from the right angle. Does anybody struggle with that?
Well, I have a struggle with like picture.
Okay, so then I guess I would go ahead and draw a right triangle and say there's the right angle. So across from the right angle would be this side right here, which is the hypotenuse. Okay? Yep. All right, number 2, in a right triangle, if x and y are the lengths of the legs, so in this picture this is x and this is y, and the hypotenuse is z, then the Pythagorean theorem tells us x squared plus y squared equals z squared. Okay? All right, in an isosceles right triangle, so again, this is all stuff that we went through step by step together. It should all be in your notes. In an isosceles right triangle, if a leg has length x, how do you find the hypotenuse? You multiply it by the square root of 2. That's what it is for the isosceles right triangle, or 45, 45, 90. Okay? In a 30, 60, 90 triangle, if the hypotenuse has length y, what's the relationship between the short leg and the hypotenuse? Divided by 2. So the short leg would be the hypotenuse divided by 2. And then once you know the short leg, Jennifer, that's what you take and multiply by the square root of 3. Okay? Does that make sense? Did you do okay on that section? I hope. I would say if you took good notes in class, this should be easy. If you just sit here and pretend like you're listening and just write something down when I circle it, then that might be a struggle. Yeah.
You know how I said I do well in I don't take notes?
Uh-huh.
Well, I got all that and I don't take notes.
All right, then for part B, just simple application of the stuff that we've learned. So what is the formula that I can write? I got one thing for you. Hold on a second.
A squared.
Okay, so yeah, so we're going to go a squared plus b squared equals c squared.
What's 18 squared plus 2
I love those cookies. And then 18 squared plus x squared equals 30 squared. Okay? That's why I have to let people leave class. I'm a boss man. I got all this free food for the guys. I know, it was good. All right, so what's 18 squared?
324.
324. 30 squared is 900. So I already solved that for x. Okay, subtract 324 from both sides, so x squared equals 576. And if you take the square root of that, you get that x equals 24 centimeters. So that's just using the Pythagorean theorem, okay, which we've been doing for the last couple of weeks, so hopefully you're good with that. Yeah? Okay? All right. How can you tell if that's the right triangle? You do the thing. So you figure out, does 9 squared plus 12 squared equal 18 squared? Okay? 9 12. So this is 81. There's 144. And those add up to like 225. So the answer is no. Okay, so just for funnies, since the hypotenuse squared is bigger than the leg squared, what kind of a triangle is that?
Obtuse.
It's an obtuse, good, because you start with the right one and then the hypotenuse gets bigger, and so that makes that one bigger. So I know they don't ask, but that would be an obtuse triangle, all right? Okay, but then for this one we get to use Manuel's little thing, right? So all I need to do for this is go 6 squared plus 8 squared plus 24 squared, and take the square root, and when you do that you get 26?
Yeah.
Is that weird to you that if you add on 6 squared plus 8 squared, it only makes this 2 things bigger? You know what I'm saying?
No.
Like, don't you think that if you square rooted all this, you'd get like 28 or something? You added 6 squared and 8 squared onto there, Haley, and then this only increased by 2? That's weird to me. I don't know, it's weird. It seems like the answer should be bigger than 26. You got what?
4.7.
Did you do this?
No, I went 24 squared plus 6 squared equals c squared.
And then what'd you get?
I got 576 plus 36
Okay. What'd you get for your final answer for C? 24.7?
Yeah.
Okay, so you didn't finish. That is just what you found is this length right here. Now you need to use that along with the 8 to figure out what the final answer is. So once you get this answer, you have to go 24.7 squared plus 8 squared, because you haven't used the 8 yet, equals C squared, and when you figure that out, that'll be your final answer. And I know you understand that, but what I want to do is just keep talking, because Jennifer's raising her hand. She's kind of tired. Started out up here, then it went down here. And I think if I just keep talking, maybe she'll put her hand down and she won't have a question. Okay? Tara, you got that? You want me to go through that again more
Yes,
slowly?
please. I didn't.
Why don't
Jennifer,
you-
what's your
why don't you
question?
do, 24 squared.
What's your question, Jennifer? No? Okay. Laura, did you have a question? I'm trying to and asking you, Laura. You have a question, Laura. Did I answer it when I was going through the problem? Oh, okay, good. For those of you watching at home, let the record show that she nodded her head. Yes, you already answered
Wait,
that.
you're still recording.
I know.
Yeah, why are you recording? Why are we recording?
Because there's band people that are gone.
Wi-Fi.
Not stupid
Yeah,
people. All right, so then number 4, they're asking you to do the Pythagorean theorem, but they're just saying it in words. So it says, what is the length of the hypotenuse of a right triangle with legs of 80 feet and 150 feet? So what do you do for that? Pythagorean theorem.
Get 170.
So you go, 80 squared plus 150 squared equals C squared. And when you work that out, you get 170 because one of our Pythagorean triples is 8, 15, 17. So 80, 50, 150, 170. Sweet. You're the man. Yeah, thank you. It is also going to work out. Okay? All right, we doing okay? Okay, number 5, what is the length of the longer leg of a 30, 60, 90 triangle with a hypotenuse of length 24 root 3? So, if you know the hypotenuse is 24 root 3, we always want to get to the short leg, that's the easy one.
12.
Good, divided by 2, so that's 12 root 3. And then this kind of freaks some people out, because then what do you do to get the long leg? What do you do to get the long leg? You multiply it by root 3, so you can go 12 root 3 times root 3. But what is the square root of 3 times the square root of 3? 3. It's going to be the square root of 9, yeah. So it would be 12 times the square root of 9, but the square root of 9 is just 3. So final answer, 36.
I don't think I did it that way.
What?
I don't think I did it.
Well, you got the right answer?
Yeah.
Okay. You're a lucky kid.
No, I think I just like.
I don't know what you did here. All right, the area of the square is 225 square centimeters. What is the length of the diagonal? So if the square has an area of 225, what are the lengths of the sides? 15, and you know that because?
That's what you do when you multiply.
15 squared.
Okay, good. 15 squared, get it, is 225. So how do you find the diagonal?
You just.
It's an isosceles right triangle because it's a square. So you could do the Pythagorean theorem, or you could save yourself some time and just go 15 root 2. Okay? Which would still work out to be whatever.
21.21.
Yeah. Okay?
And just setting a world record.
All right, number 7 is sort of a pain. Okay? Because to determine what kind of a triangle that is,
You use the distance from
right, and we have to do it 3 times. We have to figure out what the distance from A to B is.
15, 15,
We have to
60.
figure out what the distance from B to C is. And we have to figure out the distance from A to C also. Okay? So the distance formula says this is going to be one leg of the right triangle. What's the length of that leg? 8. This is going to be another leg of the right triangle. What's the length of that leg? 2. So 8 squared plus 2 squared is 68. So the distance from A to B is going to be equal to the square root of 68. Okay? How about the distance from B to C? How far is it from 10 to 7?
5.
3.
3.
How far is it from 2 to 7?
5.
5. 3 squared plus 5 squared is what? 34, so that's going to be the square root of 34. And then lastly, if you do that from A to C, from 2 to 7 is 5,
3.
right? From 4 to 7 is 3, and so that's going to work out to be the same distance. So since those two are the same, what kind of a triangle is that? Yep, we did that in the review.
This one was hard.
Jennifer, you doing okay getting this? Yeah? Okay. Just let me know if you have any questions. Okay? And I'll be sure to answer them immediately. That's the kind of guy I am.
Wait, how do we figure out your apostles?
Because two of those lengths, distances came out to be the same.
Okay.
So that means two sides of the triangle are the same.
Okay. This one was stupid.
This one was stupid. Okay.
Well, first you had to be like, how long has they been traveling?
All right, so two jets pass directly over each other at 10 p.m. One jet is traveling south at 480 kilometers per hour. Another one is traveling east.
So
I didn't do that.
900 times back to me.
Right, since we want to know how far apart they are at midnight, they've been going for 2 hours. So how far has this one gone south?
960.
960 kilometers. How far has this one gone east?
1800.
1800 kilometers. And then if we're trying to find the distance between them,
I thought it is.
right, we're trying to find the hypotenuse of that perfectly drawn right triangle. Okay?
They didn't even hit
Right, and then that's just the Pythagorean theorem. And if you do that, that works out to be what?
2040.
2040.
2,040 kilometers.
I'll be 41.
Haley, did you? What?
I'll be 41 years old.
You know the world ending in 2060.
Again? It's already ended so many times in my life.
I've survived like 4 absences.
Hi, Joe.
Joe was not in my class. All right. Okay, number 9.
Sorry, Joe.
That made a lot of sense, Ashley. All right, number 9. Find the area of an equilateral triangle with sides measuring 6 meters. So this is 6.
So the inside is 3, 5.
So I'm going to draw in the altitude. So how much is this right here? 3. And then that means since this was an equilateral triangle to start with, it's a 30, 60, 90.
That's a 45.
So, no, it's a 30, 60, 90 now. It was a 60, 60, 60.
Oh, okay. So the center is 3 pi.
So this is 3
Square root 3.
square root of 3.
Yeah.
Okay? So now, hey.
Why not?
Why?
Quiet, please. What?
Why the square root, whatever?
Because this is a 30, 60, 90 triangle. Okay? And we know that if the short leg is 3, the long leg is the short leg times the square root of 3.
Not true.
Okay? Alright, so now if I need to find the area, I do half the base. What's half the base? 3 times the height, which is 3 root 3. So that gives me a final answer of 9 root 3 square meters. Okay?
Well, actually,
All right, next one. Next one. Find the circumference of a circle circumscribed about a square with a perimeter of 40. So this is a good one to draw a picture of. So we're going to start out with the circle, and then we're going to put a square inside. And if we know that the perimeter of that square is 40, what does that tell you about the square? Yes. About a square, around. So is that why you got it wrong? Okay. So if the circle is circumscribed, the circle is around. It's like the circumference of the square. Okay. If the perimeter of this square is 40, what do you know about the square? Side length or 10. And then that will allow us to find the diameter, the diagonal. Good. So if these are both 10, the diagonal or the diameter is 10 root 2. And then once you know that, you know the formula for the circumference of a circle is, that's area, 2 pi r. And what's the radius if the diameter is 10 root 2? 5 root 2. So 2 times that is 10 root 2 times pi, which you can leave it like that, or you can multiply that out. Okay? All right? Yeah, I'm okay with that. Let's keep it that way. All right, number 11 should be so easy.
Yeah, but I mean.
Okay? Just make sure that you follow directions in case I'm feeling like being a jerk. It says, show AB as the hypotenuse of a right triangle. So I want you to actually draw that out. Okay? Then, what is the length of this leg right here? 4. What's the length of this leg right here? 3. So if you want to figure out what the hypotenuse is, 3 squared plus 4 squared equals 25.
Why did you even?
Or it's a Pythagorean triple 3, 4, 5.
Move, I do that.
All right, number 12. Find the area of the shaded region if AB equals 6 root 3. So if this whole thing is 6 root 3, how much is this distance right here?
3 root 3.
3 root 3. And that's the long leg of a 30, 60, 90. So if this is 3 root 3, what's this?
3.
3. And if that's 3, what's this? 6. Okay, so what's the area of the entire circle?
6 squared pi.
6 squared pi, which is 36 pi. Okay? What fraction of the circle is the shaded area? Yeah, because this is 120 degrees. So I have to go 1/3 of 36 pi, which would be 12 pi.
How did you get 6?
How did you even get 36 pi almost?
Okay, so let's step back a little bit. So you understand this whole thing is 6 root 3, right? So that means this is going to be 3 root 3. So this right here I know is a 30, 60, 90 triangle because this whole thing is 120. So half of it will be 60. Does that make sense? So in a 30, 60, 90 triangle, if you know the long leg and you want to find the short leg, you take the long leg divided by the square root of 3. So 3 root 3 divided by the square root of 3 is 3. Okay? Once you know the short leg is 3, that means the hypotenuse is twice that, or 6. Okay? Then, Tanner, the hypotenuse, in this case, is the radius of the circle.
Yeah, that's
You
what
got it?
that's
Okay.
where
Haley?
I did all those steps like exactly as you did them, and I got an answer wrong.
What did you get?
76 centimeters squared.
So that's just, oh,
Yeah,
that's,
it's not. No. So I don't know what I did because I did exactly what you did.
okay, and then the last one on the actual test part.
Just wrote
What do you want to call the hypotenuse?
C.
C? Okay.
No, can we do like L? No.
No, because that's for the
No one
leg.
uses L.
Okay, so x squared plus x squared equals c squared, right?
We'll do J.
What's x squared plus x squared?
2x squared.
2x squared.
Okay, wait. Right here.
Uh-huh.
I divided by 2 instead of just by everything else.
Why did you divide by 2?
Because I thought x had to be on by itself.
Oh, no, because we're trying to solve for c. So it's the c that's getting 3 by itself.
So, but wouldn't that work still?
If you wanted to know what this was, but we want to know what this is. Okay? What you just figured out is that if you know the hypotenuse and you want the leg, divide by the square root of 2. But we want to figure out, I'd probably give you that. Okay? Anyway, you want to get the c by itself, so you have to square root both sides. So the square root of c squared is c. And the square root of 2 we don't know, so I'm going to leave it as the square root of 2, and the square root of x squared is x. Okay? Just a little hint. Tomorrow, the test is going to be form B. This one had you prove the isosceles right triangle conjecture. I wonder what conjecture the other test is going to have you prove. I don't know. What other special triangles do we know? No idea. Okay, any questions on that stuff that we want? Yes, Jennifer?
I didn't understand that it wanted you to like go through the whole process. So
Right.
it said x squared plus x squared equals c squared and after.
Oh, okay, so they want you to remember the thing that we came up with was that in an isosceles right triangle, if you know the leg, you get the hypotenuse by multiplying by the square root of 2. So that's what they wanted you to show. So you were partway there, but then you need to finish the dream and figure it out. Yes?
Okay, so tomorrow, if it's the other one,
Uh-huh.
would it just be the reflecting?
If it's the other one, the 30, 60, 90 triangle comes from half an equilateral triangle, so you have to go from there.
Well, I don't, what?
Good thing you'll be able to find that out before tomorrow. All right, then we're into the mixture view. Should we roll through these real quick?
No, we should just not do them.
No?
Yes,
Three.
Well, are you
Three.
gonna grade the
I don't know. It
mixture
kind of
view like
depends
the
on how
side?
everybody
Let's not
does.
read it.
So far, I've done it 2 different ways. The first way I did it. All right, so Haley, for this one here, it says the hypotenuse of the regular hexagon shown below is about 2.6.
Yeah.
So that would allow us to find the area of the hexagon by going 1/2 the apothem times the perimeter, right? So 1/2 the apothem of the hexagon is 2.6. What's the perimeter of the hexagon?
Well,
15.
18. There's 6 sides. So then 9 times 2.6 is what? 23.4. Okay, so that's the area of the hexagon. Thank you. Now if you want to find the area of the pentagon, then you're going to do the same formula, but this time the apothem is 2 and the perimeter is 15 because it only has 5 sides. So that gives you 15. So how do you find the area of the shaded region?
23.4 minus 15.
Just subtract them, yeah, and that would be 8.4 square centimeters. Okay, does that make sense?
Yes.
Yeah.
Tell Ashley
No,
stop
you're
calling me dad.
Tanner, you said number 3.
Yeah.
So we want to
Yeah,
find
I
the length
got that
of
one on
EF. So you know that AF is 5, so this right here is 5, and CD is also 5.
Oh, I didn't have the
Good. AD is going to be 5.
And AE is going to be 2.5.
How do you know? That's a
Because it's
mistake.
half the.
But you assume that it's a 30, 60, 90, and there's nothing in here that says that it is.
No,
How do you know?
because that's 10 and that's the.
Oh, nice. Okay, so if this is double that, then the big one is the 30, 60,
Yeah,
90.
that's what I'm saying.
Okay, so this whole thing then would be 5 root 3, right?
And then I got 2.5
Root 3.
2.5 root 3 on the bottom.
Well, no, that means this right here, EF would be 2.5 root 3.
That's what I got.
That's what I
And you
did.
said it
And you
was
said it was wrong. You said there was pi in it.
Yeah,
No.
Yeah,
No, I
you
said
said
that. You said it was wrong too.
I said it was 5 root 3 over 2, which is 2.5 root 3. You got it right.
Oh!
Yeah, so I got this right.
Yes!
Touchdown,
Did I
Tito.
put correct on it?
Yes.
I didn't study for
I got 4 because I thought it was a right triangle because there's a 90 thing in there. And, over there.
Over here?
Tiny triangle.
Okay.
And so I got 4 because it looks like it's a Pythagorean.
So you wanted 3, 4, 5,
Yeah.
but it's not.
I know, but it's a 90 degree angle. So it's
I got
With a
that right.
hypotenuse of 5, but
Yeah.
not all right triangles with hypotenuses of 5 have to have legs of 3 and 4.
But then they don't equal. Then they won't be.
No, they do, because if you take this segment right here and say this is 5, then one way you can do it is to go 3 and 4, right? But if I take that same segment that's still a length of 5 and I tilt it like this, so it's still 5, right? But now these legs aren't going to be 3 and 4. This one's going to be shorter, this one's going to be longer, and it's still going to balance out. Okay? So you only can use the Pythagorean triple game if you know 2 of the sides. Then you know the third one will match.
You
Yes?
should be really excited for me.
Super excited that you guys got
This is the first
that.
time I ever gotten one of these all right.
Nice. Okay, anybody want any other ones from the mixture view?
No, I have
Eight.
8.
6. Okay, let's do 6 while we're here. So for number 6, we need to figure out the measure of this arc FC right here,
Oh,
right?
I went the other way.
Oh, so now
I
you
honestly
know?
guessed on it and I got it right.
Okay. All right, and then 8 was something that made us, that's a brutal
I
problem.
didn't do that one. I didn't do that one. Wait, what's the
No, let's not do that one.
Can we take it off of this thing, like in
Yes,
general?
yes.
So-
Oh, I know what,
so
I know how to solve
it's at
6.
17 or-
Yeah, I need to, oh, 6.
Yeah, I know
No,
how to
it's
solve
not.
4 out of 7.
6.